Peace. Good morning. Just gonna make this a quick one. I'm gonna try to push for about 8 minutes, less than that, hopefully. And all I'm talking about is another one of black people's, my beautiful black family. One of our problems or obstacles, and that's grown-ups having the mind state of a minority. So you gotta understand what a minority is. Minority simply means childlike, infant-like, minded. That's what it means. And the reason we suffer from this minority mind state is because from childhood to young adulthood, we are miseducated in a European system of thinking, into a European system of thinking. From childhood to college, from childhood to young adulthood, we're conditioned, we're being conditioned, and when we grow up, those same half truths, half lies that were taught to us, we run with as if that's all we need to know. And a lot of time in college as well, we, when we're young at least, we just want to get through school. When we get to a certain grade, from like 6 to graduating high school, we just want to get up out that motherfucker. You feel me? I mean, for the most part. So we do what we need to do to get by, right? Okay. Well, when we become adults, to stand on our own two, make decisions on our own two, live on our own 2 feet, shit like that, we don't consider expanding our knowledge base because we go by, I graduated school, I know what I know, that's what I need to know, and I know it. Not realize it that the system that we were in, the jail system that we were in, which we call school, was just conditioning us mentally to be a part of the pawn game in this world that they control. It's building a zombie, it's building a super soldier to do exactly what you want them to do. That's what school is. I recommend homeschool, and if you don't homeschool, I recommend that you keep up with what your child is learning, everything. And when that teacher, say that teacher was teaching about Christopher Columbus all week, right? All week you need to be at home teaching your kid about Christopher Columbus, the truth of Christopher Columbus. They're not discovering nothing. He didn't discover this shit. He didn't, you need to break down what his name come from, Christos and all this and that. You feel me? Because they're getting conditioned. Their children will not be the future if we do not give them the tools necessary to build one. Feel me? So, going back to my points. My point is adults with minority thinking. And it stems from the miseducational system that we have to go through, almost like being a pledge to a fraternity. Think about that. Compare that shit. The other day I'm seeing, and I'm building with a young sister, right? And we're talking about what was we talking about? We was talking about the laws, certain laws, and I was breaking down to her, the true meaning of certain things that are used in law, like the word citizen, for example. Now listen, I write my own Bibles, and they're full. Don't get it twisted. They're full of notes, knowledge. That's Bible 1. That's Bible 2. This is Bible 3, scribbled off. This is Bible 4. You feel me? So, I do my research, I take my notes, I do everything that a scientist would do. I'm sitting here and I'm explaining to her that certain shit don't mean what you think it means. You feel me? Now, I don't need the book, but I'm bringing the book into play just because I want you to know that when I speak about things, it's because I've done research. Now, I'm telling her a citizen. She keep calling herself a citizen, a citizen, a citizen. While we're building upon this knowledge of law and everything, I'm trying to explain to the young sister, like, you don't want to be a citizen. If you understood what a citizen meant, you understand why you don't want to be a citizen. And she's telling me, no, I'm a citizen, I'm an American citizen, da 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 da. Whatever. Okay. So, without needing a book, my Bible, I'll explain to her what a citizen is. It's a corporation, right? Corporation is more like a business, more like something physical, like a business, like an entity. You feel me? And I break down. I refer to Black's Law. I refer to any law dictionary. So even with the fact, look, where is it? Right there. I don't know if y'all can see it. It's a definition of citizen. These 3 lines right here. Citizen. And that's just one chapter of law. Like, I go all the way to metaphysics, to biology, to et cetera, et cetera. Well, I'm explaining to her you don't want to be a corporation. So she then says, well, I explained to her what a citizen is, and then I explained to her chattel. You know what I'm saying? Shadow, and she don't want to hear me. So I explained to her improper persona, jurisdiction, da da da. And she doesn't want to listen. She thinks that I just don't know what the fuck I'm talking about because she goes to a simple dictionary and it says something different. She don't go to a law dictionary. She just go to a word dictionary. And so, after a while of building upon that, we somehow get on religion. Now, anybody who sees this by chance and knows who I am knows I know my shit about law, religion, history. Those are my things right there. That's my thing right there. Well, we get to religion, and I explained to her the whole Isis, Osiris, Horus, Aset, Asar, all that shit, right? And she looks at me crazy. She's like, no, you talking that Illuminati shit. And so I break down the word Illuminati, illumination, then I break that down all the way back to the etymology of it. And she still doesn't listen. So I tell her, search. Go look it up. In a minute, baby. Go look it up. Doubt me, please. I don't mind that you are doubting me, but I do mind is that you won't do the research in order to prove me wrong. You're just standing on what you were taught as a child into adulthood. So all that shit they told you, you just regurgitating it with no factual foundation to prove me wrong. And this comes back to the minority mind state, childlike mind state, because everything we were taught as children into young adults stuck with us. People will not expand their knowledge base, expand their vocabulary. I do all these things. And that's one of our problems. We take what we were taught as children in a jail system school and we apply it to everyday life and think it's okay because we're still surviving. No, you're just a pawn playing its part. If you know anything about anything, you know that this USA corporation, white America, 3Ks, don't have no place for you. Don't have nothing that they gotta respect or recognize about any black folk. You understand? So life ain't okay. It's called a matrix. They make you believe this shit's okay because you got a job, which means you're still a slave because you still work for Timmy, Billy, Will, Bob. He's most likely your supervisor. So you're working hard every day to survive for your family while he's whipping on your back, making sure you're in line, doing your job right. And you're making this business millions of dollars while they give you hundreds of dollars. Slave work, that's new age slavery. But our minority minds say, oh, I'm good. I got a job. That knowledge that school taught me got me a good job. We don't create a good job. How do you think the job you work for got made? Somebody created that bitch. And this is the minority mind stage. I go to history. I was talking about a dude the other day about history. Who the originals? I don't call them aboriginals. That's disrespectful. But the originals of the land was black folks. You call them Olmecs, Africans, Moors, but this ain't the video for that. We can definitely get into that. But I'm trying to explain to them, Olmecs, you know what I'm saying, Africans, been here. We were an older civilization by the time anything about any American popped off. Feel me? But he was taught, I have truth. He was taught who was here when you see the police warn a brother. It's early, nigga. Ain't took off his shirt. And so we gotta get up out of this minority mindset. You look at school, you're in a class for 8 hours, confined to a class for 8 hours. It's just like you be in a cell in jail. You're force fed whatever teachings they want to teach you for 8 hours. And they make sure you study it and you know it and you learn it all day. And then you get in trouble. This is hypotheticals, comparing. Then you get in trouble and you go to solitary confinement or what they call detention. Right? Right. And in between in them 8 hours of the day, comparison jail and school, you get rec time, or what we call recess. Cut that down, it's rec. Feel me? So when they say school is a pipeline to jail, this is what they mean. As long as we stay in the mind, look at Malcolm X. He went from pimp and hustler to a very knowledgeable man. We all went to school. That's not an excuse to keep your knowledge limited to just school. I went to school. Barely passed, too. You know, history was I always made A's in history. But my point is, just because you went to school doesn't mean you got to stop learning. As a grown person with a child, you need to be learning as much as possible to instill in them what they need. They're not getting taught all that shit at school. You feel me? They're getting taught what the white folks want them to know, and that's it. That's it. So if they learn about Columbus, I'm at home getting my Columbus notes ready for when my daughter get home. If they learning about ancient Egypt, I'm bringing up all the shit on ancient Egypt possible. That shit like ancient Egypt is only ancient to us. Ancient Egypt is the last, you feel me? It's the baby of our civilizations. The apex of spirituality, but the baby of civilization. So I'm getting all that shit in order. So when she come home, boom, here you go. Stop calling it ancient. This is why we call it ancient. This is what happened during these times. Go to school with that. Now you take that half truth from school and you take your truth and you make that one good solid foundation of truth for them to have and keep. We gotta get out of this mental minority mind state. You feel me? You should be open to new information. Everybody should willingly be open to new information. Those who aren't, most likely are the ones who are not going to go research the information given to them. Those are those people. We're grown-ups. I have elders and I have peers and I have younger people that look up to me, right? I should be able to talk to my elders and correct them on what they were taught. And they should be able to correct me on things I don't know. But those are only for those who are receptive and went and researched the information that was given to them at one point in time. My elders are the hardest ones to do because they look at me like, you just me, you my age, we went to school together, I don't need to learn, you can't teach me nothing, da 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 da. But I can, and there's plenty of people who can. Even when I'm talking regularly to people about regular shit, if I don't know what the fuck they talk about, or at least I don't have the information to be able to exchange in a dialogue, then I'm going to ask them, what the hell are you talking about? What is that? Let me search that up. We got to be able to expand our knowledge. We have to expand our knowledge. Or you're going to continue to be a slave, a Slovakian slave. These are simple things, man. These are simple. This is the simple shit. Our minority mind states keep us hindered. Why don't you research stuff? Why don't you? See, I have a thing. I'm addicted to the knowledge. I am. Every day I'm thinking about what else can I learn? What else can I look up? Should I continue looking up what I was just studying? Should I, And through studying new stuff, you come across stuff you've never heard of, which for any seeker of knowledge would interest them to learn this now. And that leads to that, and you just build your knowledge up. Now nobody can touch you. But none of that matters if you don't act upon it or wise it. You feel me? To have the knowledge, to live the knowledge, to be the knowledge, to express the knowledge, to share the knowledge. Wise, wisdom, having a wise dome. We need to be able to expand our knowledge. We should want to. We should be okay with talking to each other as a family, black family. But like, hey, let's exchange some information. Let's build it. That's positivity. We got to do that. You got to stop thinking what you know is all you need to know, because really you don't know shit. You think these white folks just teach you everything? They have, listen, and I know it was started by us, but listen. They have a Black History Month. Just think about that for a second. Okay, now look at this. American history is Black history. Nothing else. There is no white history. There's no such thing. You feel me? There's Black history being interrupted by white people. Now that interruption is what they call white history or history. Historic. So we have the history. We have it. We was already a solid thousands of years ahead, millions of years ahead of white folks before they came in contact with us. And then when they did, we was old in our civilizations and our cultures. You see what I'm saying? All that was interrupted by white folks. We need to know this. This is the conditioning. So they put Black history in there for us. They pacify our minority mindset, our childlike mindset. They pacify us. And we're just oblivious to everything else. Quinda, mama. I see you. Quinda. All right, go. No, go. Not yet. So this is what we gotta do. We gotta build on knowledge. We gotta want to expand our knowledge base. Not be stuck on clothes. Not be stuck on any material things. We so are. That's a whole. I'm gonna just make another video about how materialistically based we are, how much attention we need, how much all this shit like a child does with their parents. We are the minority minds. And that's our problem. That's one of our problems. I love y'all. Build your knowledge up. Teach one. You feel me? Be receptive to it. If you don't know it, don't mean you don't need to know it. Just means you don't know it. Research it and then know it. And then go to something else. Build your knowledge base up, family. A sharp sword can win a war without lifting a finger. I love y'all. Peace. Always together. Remember that. Don't do this shit. You see, we apart. Peace. Peace.